amid Marc Márquez's incredible dominance throughout the 2025 MotoGP season. A surprising revelation shook the paddock. Marquez, who is known for rarely commenting, openly criticized his former teammate, Dani Pedrosa. This time, his statement reopened old wounds and revealed another side of his journey toward the most dominant era in MotoGP history. What did Marquez say, and how does this revelation illustrate his unwavering determination in the 2025 season? Let's discuss. So far, a total of 444 points have been available, the combined results of sprint and main races, and Marc Márquez has accumulated 380. This means he has secured 85.8% of all possible points. This number reflects not only dominance, but also serves as a slap in the face to the entire 2025 MotoGP grid. His 8 Grand Prix wins, 11 sprint victories, and 8 weekends ending with a perfect score of 37 points testified to Marquez's consistency this season. He achieved all of this without controversy, major incidents, or chaotic strategies. No hesitation, no random luck, just one thing: a truly extraordinary performance. Marquez is not only fast, but also efficient, disciplined, and composed. He seems like a racing machine designed to crush his rivals' hopes. Compared to his glory days with Honda, he looks more mature and precise. There are no gaps. There's no room for opponents to breathe. These numbers are not mere statistics. They are a testament to the era Marc Márquez is creating, an era where his name alone silences the entire paddock. Since its permanent introduction in 2023, the sprint race has transformed MotoGP. This short, intense format requires maximum aggression in a short amount of time, and Marc Márquez has made it his personal stage. Of the 144 points available in this season's sprint races, Marquez has only dropped 3. He has amassed 1-for-1 points, or 97.9% of the total possible, a figure that leaves the entire paddock in awe. This isn't just domination, it's the destruction of the competitive landscape. Marquez isn't just winning, he's making his rivals look like bystanders in a show he's orchestrated. Even more astonishingly, Marquez would still lead the standings even if only the sprint race results were counted. On the other hand, even if the sprint race were eliminated, he would still lead the overall standings by a staggering 74 points ahead of his nearest rival. In other words, regardless of the format or the day, this era belongs to Marc Márquez. While Marquez is soaring, his rivals are falling one by one. Reigning champion Pecco Bagnaia is struggling to adapt to the sprint format, which has become a crucial element of MotoGP. His main problems were the smaller fuel tank and the energy strategy in half-distance races. He failed to score points in 3 sprint races, and the consequences were brutal. Based solely on Sunday's results, Pecco was only 1 point behind Alex Marquez. However, due to the significant influence of the sprint race, the gap widened to 48 points. Sprint racing has truly become his main enemy this season. On the other hand, Alex Marquez, the younger brother of the championship leader, was a major surprise. Despite riding an older GP24, he scored 1 Grand Prix victory, 1 sprint victory, and 10 podium finishes. This achievement put him in second place in the standings, but left him 120 points behind his older brother. This gap speaks volumes about Marc's current level of dominance. Marco Bezzecchi and Fabio Di Giannantonio also performed brilliantly as non-factory riders. Bezzecchi brought Aprilia back into the competitive picture with a win at Silverstone and podium finishes at Assen and Brno. Meanwhile, De Gea demonstrated remarkable consistency, crashing only 3 times all season. He even managed to break into third place in the sprint standings. He began to emerge as a dark horse lurking behind Ducati's stars, though not many took notice. But all of Marquez's dominance and perfection doesn't come from thin air. In a surprising interview with DAZN, he revealed who has influenced his riding style the most, and his answer surprised everyone. "I learned the most from Pedrosa. He's my teammate and taught me a lot about riding a MotoGP bike," Marquez said sincerely. Not Valentino Rossi, not Casey Stoner, not Jorge Lorenzo, but rather a quiet yet brilliant figure who has been underrated for years, Dani Pedrosa. Like him, but with more power and a little more aggression, he's the rider who can really talk to my bike. The combination of Pedrosa's finesse and Marquez's physical strength and trademark aggressiveness creates a new person. Marquez 2020 Fivia, perfect hybrid of precision and ferocity. And that's not all. Marc Márquez also revealed that he learned a lot from his legendary rivals. From Valentino Rossi, he learned race management, how to control a race, read a situation, and maintain composure under pressure. Meanwhile, he learned rhythm and consistency from Jorge Lorenzo, two key elements that made Lorenzo so difficult to beat at the peak of his form. However, Marquez emphasized one equally important point: you can't copy your rivals. You can only try to approach their strengths and race your own way. Last season, the Ducati GP23 was a nightmare. Marquez crashed 24 times because the bike was too sharp at the front and not suited to his late-braking style. This year, however, the GP25 truly suited his instincts. While Pecco Bagnaia was still struggling with braking feel, Marquez felt comfortable. He didn't need to fight with the bike. He just needed to let it take its course. Marquez was no longer a gladiator. He was an architect. He built victories. He didn't force them. This season, Marc Márquez has achieved an impressive 8 Grand Prix victories. He is now just 6 wins away from tying the legendary record of 13 wins in a single season, set in 2014. If he maintains his momentum, he could tie the record at the Japanese Grand Prix and potentially break it at the Mandalika circuit in Indonesia, a highly symbolic venue for MotoGP fans in Asia. Marquez's fastest lap record is also astonishing. Not only because of his victories, he has recorded 70 fastest laps throughout his career, putting him just 6 points behind the current record holder, Valentino Rossi, who has 76. Given his current form, it's possible he could break this record before the end of the season. What makes this all the more dramatic is the time dimension. Marquez has the potential to become the oldest world champion in the modern MotoGP era at age 32, while retaining the title of the youngest world champion of all time, a record he set at age 20 in 2013. It's an extraordinary circle of history that is slowly approaching completion. On the other hand, Honda is still mired in a nightmare. Although Johann Zarco delivered a sensational victory at Le Mans and Joan Mir showed flashes of talent, the RC213V is still a bike that demands too much from its rider. Its weak engine forces deeper braking and leads to more crashes. Meanwhile, the sprint format remains controversial. Pecco Bagnaia has called for regulatory revisions and safety improvements rather than constant changes to the race format. Marquez supports this, with Liberty Media taking over MotoGP. There is concern that classic circuits like Brno, Azan, Mugello, and Jerez will be replaced by new markets. But to the riders, those places are the soul of MotoGP. Classic tracks must remain. However, they must also keep up with the speed and safety developments of modern motorcycles. Marquez insists, history is already being written. The pen is in Marc Márquez's hands. Will Marquez break all the records this season? Leave your thoughts below.